It's the cozy season, which means all you want to do is sit up, curled in a blanket, drink a really nice warm drink, and maybe play some board games. So today I have a list of some of my favorite cozy feeling board games. Unlike my last video, I'm going to start big to small. The first game that I'm going to start with is Wingspan.
Wingspan is one of my favorite games, and I've covered it quite a lot on this channel, from my 5 more aesthetically pleasing board games to my top 2022 games. It's a set collecting, drafting, and tableau management game, all to do with birds and bird facts. The artwork is stunning, and it's a strategic game with simple enough mechanics that make it both engaging and satisfying to play. It's a great game to play on a chilly day, enjoying aspects of nature from the inside of your home. The collecting different types of birds on your board is satisfying, along with all of the physical elements like the eggs and dice. An overall cozy vibe of a game, in my opinion.
The next board game that I'm going to talk about is Azul.
Azul is another tableau management game with beautiful tiles to collect and arrange according to your player board. It's a strategic game of placing your tiles in a quilt-like pattern in order to obtain the most points. Again, I covered the gameplay of Azul in my aesthetically pleasing games video. I love the coordinating tile colors of this game, and the simplicity of the strategy makes it a nice, quick game to play on those cozy afternoons. There are also several variants to this game, each one a satisfying tactile game of arranging pieces in a certain pattern. I'd love to know what versions you own, if you do own any.
The next board game that I'm going to talk about is Patchwork.
Patchwork is a 2-player tile placing game where players take turns choosing, paying for, and arranging their quilt pieces onto their 9x9 square board. Each piece costs a number of buttons, which is your currency, and a certain amount of time, which you keep track of on the central time track. As you fill your board, you'll collect patches that contain buttons on them as well, which, when you pass a button space on the time track, you'll collect that amount of buttons you have on your quilt. There are additional ways to gain buttons, including filling up a 7x7 section of your board before the other player. Once both players reach the end of the time track, the game ends, and whoever has the most buttons wins. Not only is the subject matter of this board game really cozy, the fact that it's just a 2-player game makes it that much more intimate, and it's a satisfactory collecting and arranging game with enough of a competitive edge to make it fun, but it's just mainly cozy vibes.
The next cozy board game that I'm going to talk about is Parks.
Parks is a beautiful set collecting game. I've covered this game also in my aesthetically pleasing games video. You're hikers trying to visit as many of the different beautifully illustrated national parks, collecting them using natural resources like sun, water, and more, gaining them through a limited movement track, only allowing you to move forward, collecting the certain resource you land on. You can collect canteens and gear to help you collect more resources to visit parks, as well as seasonal cards that add variety to each round of the game. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. The thematic visuals and pieces of this game make it an immersive, cozy experience. Enjoying the stunning renditions of the U.S. national parks and the satisfying feeling of collecting makes it overall a cozy game.
You might notice that a lot of these board games fit really well under the aesthetically pleasing board games as well, which I think correlates. What do you guys think? And now for our last board game for today, Arboretum.
Arboretum is a set collecting, card laying, and hand management game. There are 10 different beautifully colored tree types in this game. On each turn, a player draws 2 cards from the deck or any other player's discard pile, lays a card in front of them as part of their arboretum, and then discards a card to their personal discard pile. You score points by creating paths that start and end with the same colored tree, and they are chained orthogonally and increase the number value. When the deck is depleted, players compare the cards that remain in their hands to determine who can score each color. For each color, the player with the highest value of cards in hand of that color scores their path. For each card in a path that scores, the player earns 1 point. If the path consists of only trees of that same color being scored, the player scores 2 points per card. If a player doesn't have the most value of a color, they score 0 points for their path that begins and ends with that specific color. Whoever has the most points wins. This is another game that seems to fit all of the requirements of a cozy game. Set collecting, 2 to 4 players, beautiful artwork. So overall, it fits the cozy list.
hope you all enjoyed this list of board games, and I would love to know what are some of your favorite cozy board games. I'm always looking for those cozy feeling, aesthetically pleasing board games, so please list them down below. I would love to see your comments. Anyway, thanks again so much for watching. Stay warm, keep cozy, and I'll see you next time.